Is soy food consumption turning men into pussies and making them more likely to adopt left-wing beliefs? You've probably seen the BuzzFeed Try Guys video where they measure their testosterone and it's literally half or less the normal level for a man. Their testosterone is so low, it's below the average for an 85 to 100-year-old man.
We're all super freaking hot.
Imagine my shock.
Stop it right now.
And as we know, the only men who seriously watch BuzzFeed are tofu-eating, male feminist virtue signaling, beta orbiter soy boys. Which led me to this, one of the funniest things on Twitter ever. This guy's compiled a huge list of the most virulently insufferable far leftists on Twitter. And guess what? They all consume soy products in copious quantities. Soy boys. Remember Will Wheaton, the twat who insulted Christians immediately after the Texas church massacre of Christians. He's a soy boy. The pez-neck New York Antifa professor who constantly tweets about wanting cops to be killed. He's a soy boy. Casey Newton, the Verge editor who said he'd walk through fire for Hillary Clinton. He's a soy boy. Arthur Chu, the Jeopardy winner who's such a good feminist, he wants to wipe out all men and admits he can't satisfy his wife. He's a soy boy. He's such a soy boy, he thinks Starbucks charging extra for soy milk is racist. This guy who said he was suicidal because he's ethnically white. He's a soy boy. This Tumblr male feminist who brags about how woke he is. He's a soy boy. This dude who's such an ardent feminist he took his wife's last name. He's a soy boy. This idiot who thinks saying all lives matter is racist and hates his own family because they're conservative. He's a soy boy. This communist who thinks anyone who disparages soy is a fascist. He's a soy boy. Jesse Cox, the comedian who said he'd rather die than see America stop taking in refugees. He'd be a soy boy. And that's the thing. There seems to be an even closer correlation between male feminist virtue signalers who defend Muslim refugees and their soy fetish. Despite the fact that the mass importation of people from a society that literally produced something called the rape game is putting more women at risk than ever before. Yeah, not very feminist that, is it?
Say it loud, say it clear, refugees are welcome here. Delicious tofu dog.
Soy boy.
If the US cared about civilians in Syria, maybe it shouldn't have stopped accepting them as refugees. When your local Thai food spot calls you back to make sure you only want 2 orders of tofu drunken noodle because you usually order 3.
Soy boy.
If you're LGBT and support Trump's Muslim and refugee bans, you're putting many of our brothers and sisters at risk, and fuck you! Soy is unhealthy. Okay, but I'm literally using it as a dairy substitute, so what's your point?
Soy boy.
Non-refugee men are far more likely to be rapists, statically. Stop being a xenophobe!
This guy posted a picture of his soy-filled fridge, then said if his own son turned into a woman because of eating too much soy, he wouldn't see it as a negative. Soy boy. I wonder if the Norwegian guy who felt guilty about the Muslim migrant who raped him being deported is also a soy boy. Bet he is. What is it about soy that turns men into such spineless wimps?
I mean, this guy is such a total pussy, it's stunning.
Soybeans contain high amounts of phytoestrogens, organic compounds that mimic the female hormone estrogen in the human body. This reduces testosterone and lowers male sperm count. Men who eat half a serving of soy a day have 34 million fewer sperm per millimeter than those who don't. Men with low testosterone have impaired sexual functioning. They lose their libido. Men with high estrogen take on feminine traits. They find it harder to handle stress.
I'm triggered.
They become less assertive. They become low energy. Their voices get higher, their genitals shrink, they lose muscle tone and they lose hair.
The fact that they use soy therapy for women that are post-menopause, meaning that their femininity has sort of dropped, right? They don't have as much estrogen. They use soy to produce more womanly hormones for those types of women is a clear indicator to me that I don't want to take that shit because I don't want to be more womanly.
Men with high testosterone handle dramatic situations better. They don't get scared by loud noises. Low testosterone is also linked with mood swings and depression. It's a constant source of interest to me how my most obsessive and vehement haters on the left always relentlessly complain about how maniacally depressed they are. Studies have repeatedly shown how liberals are more unhappy than conservatives. Every year since 1972, when Pew began its study, significantly more Republicans have reported themselves to be very happy compared to Democrats. Soy lowers testosterone, and low testosterone causes depression. depression. Obviously, it's not the only factor, but consider this. In 1992, soy food sales in the US stood at $300 million a year. They now stand at over $4 billion a year. This has coincided with a substantial drop in men's testosterone levels in the US since the 80s.
According to Dr. Thomas Travison and his colleagues behind one such study, the average levels of the male hormone are dropping by about 1% per year. This means that a 40-year-old man in 2017 would have testosterone levels about 20% lower than a 40-year-old in 1997.
Surgeons are also conducting an all-time record number of operations to reduce man boobs. Could soy be one of the causes of this surge in men growing Babylons? And I'm not talking about obesity. We're talking about otherwise healthy and lean boys and young men suffering from gynecomastia, otherwise known as bitch tits. According to Dr. Kayla T. Daniel, the cause is environmental estrogens, including, you guessed it, soy.
All of those soybeans contain phytoestrogens, that's plant estrogens, and they are a form of estrogenizing influence on the body. They create hormonal havoc, they create endocrine disruption. And who's most at risk? Well, boys who were on soy infant formula when they were babies, boys who grew up and their brains and bodies developed on soy milk and other phytoestrogenic foods, and young men and older men who get health conscious and start drinking a lot of soy milk and eating soy shakes and soy energy bars. Moobs can be one of the side effects.
After retired US Army intelligence officer James Price was diagnosed with gynecomastia, he was found to have estrogen levels in his bloodstream 8 times the normal limit for men. Take a rough guess at what Price's favourite drink was. Soy milk. Parents are switching their infants over to soy baby formula in droves. 25% of babies in America are now fed soy infant formula. A baby exclusively fed soy formula receives the estrogenic equivalent of at least 5 birth control pills per day. So that suggests that rather than people with already pre-existing left-wing beliefs being attracted to vegan-style tofu soy diets, we're actually creating an army of soy boys from birth. What a terrifying thought. And let's be clear, I'm not talking about gay people. I don't think soy changes sexuality. I'm talking about effeminate acting straight guys. Let's call them try guys. When it comes to men actually behaving and acting like men, soy is the silent killer. We're losing an entire generation of young men to soy men. If you don't want to develop a bunch of retarded beliefs about how inviting in millions of rapey migrants is a great idea, about how anyone to the right of Michael Moore is literally Hitler, about how fantastic communism is, or about how being a white man is shameful and wrong, while literally growing tits and seeing your penis shrink at the same time, when it comes to soy, just say no. Please click the big red button to subscribe. It really helps me when you do that, and click the bell to allow notifications so you never miss a new video.